MotorWeek is made possible by TireRack.com and RockAuto.com.
A few months back, we reported on Chevrolet's amazing Corvette ZR1. It has 4 valves per cylinder and more horsepower than anyone can officially put a number on. It also has an estimated $50,000 price tag and a limited production run, so not many of us will ever own one. But here's some good news. Chevrolet has taken some of the good stuff from the ZR1 and added it to the regular Corvette for 1989. The option is called L98, and it makes not having the ZR1 a little less painful. To be absolutely precise, L98 is the option code for the engine that will power most new Corvettes. The price for these cars will start at $31,568, and for that you'll get a number of improvements. This cast iron block 5.7-liter engine isn't one of them. It continues with no modifications to speak of since our last Corvette test. And even though it doesn't breathe through 32 valves, it's still very much alive with the power of 245 horses. But it's the way that power gets to the back wheels that's most exciting. There's a new 6-speed manual transmission. A no-cost option, this replaces the Doug Nash 4+3 manual transmission that was available from '84 to '88. We won't miss the old transmission. With its long throw shifter and clunky feel, it made a lot of people opt for the automatic. We do have one complaint about the new 6-speed. It is programmed to lock out of 2nd and 3rd gear if you don't accelerate quickly enough to convince its electronic brain that you need all the gears. The reason behind this is economy. We're told the feature can be defeated with a careful study of the Corvette's wiring diagram and some judicious snipping. Made by ZF of Germany, the new transmission shifts smoothly and with reasonably short throws. The top 2 gears are both overdrive, so only the bottom 4 are involved in the business of meaningful acceleration. They helped the Corvette to a quarter-mile time of 14.3 seconds and a final speed of 97. 0 to 60 in our car took 6.1 seconds. While that's the same as before, getting there is less work and more fun. Brakes are quite up to the task of dealing with the speed the car can generate. From our usual test at 60 miles per hour, the Corvette's stops averaged to a distance of 110 feet. With ABS as standard equipment, there was no instability but lots of pulsation through the pedal. What impressed us even more is the way the Corvette behaved in repeated stops during the laps we turned at Savannah, Georgia's Roebling Road Raceway. Their capability never seemed to deteriorate even after 4 days of this sort of driving. We'll tell you more about our road course drive after we take a look inside the Corvette. Things look pretty much as they always have in here. The surroundings seem on the verge of engulfing you, and the familiar windowsill dash still hoods the massive impact-absorbing passenger panel and electronic gauge cluster. We still call this the best electronic gauge package in the business, even though some of our staff members are a bit squeamish about having anything but analog gauges in a sports car. Sit behind those gauges and you'll discover the Corvette's latest interior feature. The seats have been redesigned. As before, the driver and passenger seat can both have optional 6-way power adjustment. Our car also had the optional leather-covered sport buckets. Costing an extra $1,025, they feature power adjustments for rake, the side wings, and lumbar area. This may seem gimmicky, but we found the seats to be the most comfortable and supportive we found in any Corvette and any sports car. This is the first Corvette we've had with automatic climate control. The unit isn't as pretentious as it could be and has a switch that allows you to turn it off. The roof panel, of course, can be removed. A new item, which our car didn't have, is a transparent plastic panel that lets sun in but still shields you from its heat. When you're not carrying the roof panel in the trunk area, there's more storage room than many sports cars have and 2 lockable compartments. If handling power is your major interest, the option code to remember is still Z51. With it, you get these monster 275/40 ZR17 tires. The next option code you'll want is FX3. That gets you the Delco Bilstein Selective Ride Control System. It offers 3 settings: touring, sport, or performance. Shock absorber damping levels are adjusted to give you a ride that suits the situation. Our car, with its shocks set in the touring position, was much easier to live with than the Z51 equipped model we tested last year. The ride was still firm, but not as jolting as before. With the ride control set in the performance mode, this was the stickiest Corvette we've ever had occasion to sling around a road course, keeping in mind that we've yet to do this with the ZR1. Unlike some past Corvettes, which seemed more inclined to plant their front tires and fight the turn, the current car seems to throw the whole of its weight evenly into a turn. The result is mild plow from the front end and a wag from the rear end if you manipulate the throttle at the right place and time. And thanks to the Corvette's very fast steering, it's easy to recover if the rear wheels steer too far off the driver's intended path. But there continues to be a downside to the Corvette's high potential. Vibration and noise easily find their way into the body structure and interior. We also noted more groans and whines from the car's differential and drive shaft area than we expected. But the sound and fury of the Corvette's big V8 does drown some of it out. Factor in the clean snaps of its new shifter, and you get a grin that lasts until you run out of gas. Speaking of which, the 6-speed Corvette L98 is EPA rated at 16 city, 25 highway. We experienced 22. Good enough that we'd gladly sacrifice an MPG or two if Chevrolet would lobotomize the transmission's economy computer. For comparison, the Porsche 944 Turbo is a bit faster. It has a more solid feel to its body, with fewer noises and less vibration. It's generally better refined, but costs about $10,000 more than a generously equipped Corvette. At the other end of the spectrum is Chevy's own IROC Z. It cost half the price of a Corvette, and the last one we tested accelerated faster, but it doesn't have the Corvette's handling power, ABS brakes, or sophisticated suspension. Corvette hits include the new 6-speed transmission, redesigned seats, improved ride, and overall great track performance. Misses are the economy-minded lockout for second and third gear, body vibrations, and drivetrain noise. Even so, the L98-powered Corvette managed to win the heart of many of our staff. The new ZF transmission helps transform the Corvette from a brutish, distinctly American sports car to one that can be handled with much of the precision common to its German competitors. Perhaps the car's biggest problem is that it will be overshadowed by its faster, more expensive ZR1 brother. What a pity.